Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's training. My name is Chad, and I'll be your MC today. I'm here with my coworker, Justin Judy. Justin is one of our utmost ArcSite experts, and today he's going to be walking you through creating your first drawing in ArcSite. After today's training, you should feel fully comfortable with the interface of ArcSite and should be really comfortable creating your first drawing and maybe even using some of the advanced features of ArcSite as well. Before we get started, I just wanted to go over one detail. We do have a chat bot in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you have any questions for Justin or myself during today's training, feel free to type those questions in the chat bot panel, and we will get back to you. If not right away, we'll get back to you within 24 business hours. So please feel free to type as many questions as you have, because we are here staffing that chat bot to answer those for you. But with that said, Justin, I'm going to hand things off to you and let you take it away. Thank you so much.
Sounds good. Thanks, Chad. Appreciate that. Yeah, just kind of like you said, feel free to chuck as much stuff in there as possible. There's no way for us to know kind of when, where you're watching from, what sort of industries you're in. So feel free to take advantage of that to really communicate across to us what you're hoping to get out of this. Because the point of it is to make sure you can do your job better using the tool. And at the end of the day, the only way we can know how to do that is to personalize it a bit. So feel free to chuck all that stuff in there. We also have a wonderful community at community.arcsite.com that I recommend you guys all join after this. It just allows you to kind of share best practices, see what other folks are doing, and learn tips and tricks from pros using it on a daily basis in their workflow. But kind of without further ado there, I'll jump into the screen sharing portion of today to make sure that you guys get as much content as you can, as efficiently as possible. So now you guys can all see my iPad screen. I'm just in a project. From the initial project screen, when you open ArcSite, this is what you're going to see. You won't see as many folders as me because you're just starting out. You might see one or two. If you haven't created any, you can simply just hit create project, fill it out, go from there. So I'm just going to go into a folder that I've already got named demo. I store a lot of my demo drawings and things in here and things that I'm working with folks on to help perfect their accounts. When you do that, you can simply hit create drawing. You can start from scratch, or you can import a PDF. You can capture an image. You can do a lot of different things. You can set your precision and everything on the bottom. I'm just going to leave mine on 1/2 inch. I feel like that's precise enough for most of the work that I do with an ArcSite. But if yours is different and you need to go down to a 64th of an inch, or you don't work in inches and you work in meters, feel free to change that to fit your needs. So from there, you'll just simply hit create and it will pull up a canvas. Now the canvas is unlimited in size. Just by pinching and zoom and dragging, you can create a canvas that meets really any need. You can do things miles wide or things very, very small. So micro or macro in scale. So if you need a bunch of huge canvas, you can simply just pinch and drag in and it will zoom all the way out. And I'm almost to 1 mile now, but I'm going to go back in and draw something that's more the size of a house just for today. You know, something with a canvas around 80 to 100 feet, somewhere in that range should do it. But as you're working through and using the iPad or whatever device you're on in the field, on the right side, you're going to see a toolbar with all of your commands. So starting in the top right, you may or may not see products. So products are going to be for our advanced and enterprise level customers who are using this to create proposals and fill out forms and create detailed material takeoffs or bill of materials or order sheets or all the different functions that you can create by using a product. But we're not really going to focus on that as much today. This being 101, I want to get you guys more oriented on the canvas and a little more comfortable using some of the more basic tools. So we're actually going to start with the draw tool. The select tool we'll come back to, but we're going to start with the draw tool. When you tap on draw, you're going to see a bunch of different options pop up on the screen. First one being continuous lines. That allows you to draw perfectly straight lines to whatever dimension you want to draw them to without lifting your finger. This is the most similar mode to pen and paper if you're only trying to draw perfectly straight lines. So if I take my finger on the screen and I simply draw out the portfolio of what a house may look like, it will keep everything very straight and allow me to create an outline really quick, really easy. You can then go back and change those dimensions by simply tapping on a dimension. Maybe this is actually 55 or 58 feet 9 inches. You can simply hit the green check mark and it will extend that line out and then extend everything else attached to it. So that'll kind of keep everything nice and organized. It's meant to allow you to not mess up the rest of your drawing per se, or not break everything apart and have to go readjust every line independently. If you don't like that feature, you can turn that off, but that's a feature for another day. Just ask your customer success manager, refer to the help center if you want to really get deep into the features. But for now, we're just focusing on the functionality of it. Now, the tool I recommend people use more in the field besides continuous is the line arc mode. The difference is you're going to be creating everything as its own independent line segment that way. So it gives you a little more control. So if you wanted to draw something up and then create an arc down, same tool, all you're doing is dragging your fingers in different motions. Now you'll see that this line and this arc are not connected in any way. If at any time through your ArcSite journey and using it in the field, you need to go back and edit something, you can simply tap on that segment and it gives you a bunch of details, control points, angles, distances from center, if this thing was on a circle. And you can simply go in and take this control point and connect it to this line wherever you want it connected. Now, if we want it all the way to the point, we'll just snap it to the point and it goes through and creates that. Now, I just showed you that purely for educational reasons because it's the same tool, whether you want to create a straight line or a curved line, it's just going to follow the motion of your finger. So beyond that is wall. Wall is the same thing as line, but with depth to it. So if I were to draw a wall, it's going to have a predefined depth. Now, if I was going to draw an outline of a house, instead of using the draw tool, I would probably choose to use the wall tool. Now, the reason I would do that is because if I'm going to go through and create, the wall of the exact same house, now if I go through and use the next tool on the list, openings, doors, windows, things like that, they're going to snap in place to that wall and create a nice, neat little opening. So that way it'll show you a more realistic looking drawing of what you're trying to accomplish. And then same thing with windows. Now I'm going to stop on windows because I want to show you the actual functionality of an object on the canvas. So I dropped in a window. When I drop it in, you're going to see it surrounded by a few kind of orangish, goldish kind of symbols. The center one is a 4-way arrow that allows you to simply move the object by just tapping on it and dragging. When you move it near a related object, it's going to automatically grab and snap to that object. So if I go and I start dragging it to this wall, as I get close, it's going to grab it and it's going to stop there. You can see all the relational data, how far it is from each corner. All of those are editable fields, just like the dimension I showed you earlier. If you wanted to change that 22 foot 1 inch to 20 feet, you can, and it'll move the window within 20 feet of that wall. So you can simply just change it and it'll move the window without adjusting the length of the line or anything like that. Now, when you have a window, houses traditionally have a lot of windows. The reason I use windows for this example is because it's something you're going to be duplicating often. If you ever want to duplicate an object on the screen, whether it's a shape, a line, anything, text, you can hit the little button right below the 4-way arrow. It looks like a piece of paper being copied into another piece of paper, and then don't lift your finger and simply drag it. So you can create a duplicate of the exact item you have. And as you start to move from side of the canvas to side of the canvas, as it hits a wall, it's going to automatically turn itself. It knows that you're trying to snap this to that wall, and it has a gut feeling that you're not trying to, put them sideways into a wall. So ArcSite's intuitive enough to capture that sort of stuff for you. Now you can do the same thing, with your garage doors and control where those are located and drop those into place and extend them out so that's the actual length of whatever garage door you're functioning with. And you can have a real nice outline to a house in just a matter of seconds. It won't take you guys a lot of effort and a lot of time to do what I've done so far. And you can kind of continue to hone your skills using the basic tools at any time. Now, below openings is shapes. Shapes are immensely important based on whatever industry you're in. So if you tap on shapes, you're going to see ArcSite Basic and My Shapes. That's all you're going to see at first. If you go all the way down to the bottom, you're going to see a category line that says Get More Shapes. You can go through here and choose whatever shape libraries you want. We have a bunch of them. We have thousands of shapes built into ArcSite that are reusable, that are just drag and droppable in a bunch of different categories. Now you can see I don't have welding shapes and I don't have putting greens. Leave a couple off just intentionally, not something I draw with all that often. So if I go through and I want to choose, a specific bathroom shape, I can go into here and choose, a corner shower, drop that into the canvas. If I know that this shower goes in this top corner of this room up here, maybe this is the bathroom, and I get it up here, it's currently backwards. Now, the only little icon I didn't show you how to use per se is the one on the right, which is the rotate. You simply just drag in a circle and it allows you to rotate any sort of object. And you can place that shower right into the corner of, say, that bathroom. You could obviously draw that out as a bathroom, things on the house if you chose to, and kind of work in from there. So if I wanted to do that, I might just do something like this and draw in a bathroom, go back, add a door, and you have, a room built within your house. It's obviously a huge bathroom. I left it big just so you can easily see the next steps I'm going to do within the app. I know it's not a to scale bathroom, or it's just a really, really big one. Next is going to be the fill tool right underneath shapes. Fill allows you to capture kind of a more aesthetic feel. You can choose things that are fill with a solid color, or you can fill with a pattern. So if you know this is going to have, a crosshatch pattern or a granite floor or whatever it may be, you want to go in and fill that in, you can go through and fill that with any shape, any color of any pattern that we have built into the app. And all you really need to do is tap inside that bathroom and it'll fill the entire area and space with it. Now, there is a thing that we can get into later and I can help you with it offline if you want, but you can use shapes as boundaries or not as boundaries. So it fills under or doesn't fill under a shape like that shower, but that's a little more advanced than stuff we're trying to cover today. So I'm going to move on to the next piece down the right sideline, which is the measure tool. Now the measure tool allows you guys to quickly and easily assess a property. So if you're out and you want to know how big this entire floor plan is, maybe excluding the bathroom, all you need to do is pick internal point. It'll tell you, you can simply tap inside any area and it'll give you an instant footage, tell you how big. Mine's set to feet. Obviously you'd get square meters or something if your precision was set differently, but you can quickly and easily measure and gather area dimensions that way. Right underneath measure is going to be the annotate tool. And I do want to point out, I am going through some of these features kind of quick. This is just meant to orient you, but there are a bunch of different ones. You can measure distance, angles, polygons, rectangles. If you need to measure, say, a weird area, the polygon tool allows you to simply measure out any one odd space, and it'll kind of adjust that measurement as you go and give you whatever it is that you measure out. So that we have additional tools built in that are a little more advanced for what you're looking to use. So just be aware that I'm not hitting on every single thing the app has to offer, but I'm trying to hit the highlights that you'll use the most often. Right underneath the measure tool is going to be the text tool. Now, the text tool allows you to do it in a few ways. You can simply tap where you want to insert some text. So if I want to insert some text off to the side here, and I want to insert bathroom, and then I want to take this bathroom and I want to place it within there, you can drop it wherever you want. Now, if I would rather keep that text there and I want to point out where something is, but I don't want it to cover it, the little call out tool allows you to draw a little arrow automatically to where something is going. And I do want to point out any sort of thing you have selected or before you draw, you can change the color and style to whatever it is that you want. If you're trying to change it for something you're doing in the future, you'll use the toolbar here on the right where it says color and styles. If you're trying to change it for something you currently have selected, the toolbar that appears on the left whenever anything is selected is specifically for that selected object. So if I'm going in and adjusting that shower, I can hit the one over here, change it to red, and then that text is now red. So it allows you to adjust what you have selected versus what you're going to be doing next. So that's the kind of the difference between the left and the right toolbar, and you'll only see the left toolbar if something is selected. So if I tap on that text, the left toolbar will reappear. Now underneath that is our photo tool. So the photo tool allows you to simply tap wherever you're standing and take a live photo or insert a photo. The benefit of doing this versus dropping a photo directly on the canvas is it has a real nice, neat, clean photo icon at the end of the day that shows up on the canvas. So if I go through and, I go into a photo library and I grab a photo of, something I'm looking at from wherever I'm standing at the moment, maybe there's a legend, a window in there, and you want to make some notations on that. And, this window is being, replaced or whatever sort of work you're doing. That then just saves right into that drawing. You can go back, add more photos to it, view them at any time. You can move this around saying, hey, I was right here facing this window over here on the side, and I took that photo. So it allows you to capture all that data without needing to really bulk up and clutter the canvas. So the photo tool is nice in that regard. The next tool beyond that is the edit tool. So edit allows you to make quick changes to things that you've already drawn. So if I were to draw out a specific area, maybe this and this, and these lines are supposed to be connected. Instead of having to go back and tap on each line and adjust the control points to make sure they connect, we have an extend tool that allows, actually, let me re-extend that one back just to kind of show you the functionality of it. So when you draw over any two lines, just by making that little gray trace line is the path my finger took on my iPad, it'll snap them together automatically. And kind of vice versa, if it's overextended, the trim tool does the opposite. If I were to trim over this, it'll just snap it back to the nearest intersection. So you don't need to constantly be tapping and dragging. Once you get used to the tools, you'll be able to quickly snap things around. We also have offset tools, array tools, trace tools. The trace tool is nice if you're playing off of an existing PDF. You can simply create all that into ArcSite lines pretty quickly. The array tool allows you to create a bunch of the same objects set a specific distance apart. So if you're setting, fence posts or helical piers or something, and you want them to be 8 feet apart, 6 feet apart, 10 feet apart, depending on what you're doing, you can simply tap on one, enter in that they're 10 feet, drag it out, and it'll automatically fill the area, which is really nice too. But yet again, more of an advanced feature, not necessarily a 101. So stuff that if you do need help with it, if you go to arcsite.com and then the resources up top, we have a help center, which has a bunch of details on all the stuff I'm covering today, but just in more depth. Or refer to that community I talked about earlier. We got a lot of tips and tricks and community help articles and things on there as well. So before I kind of jump off of the basic one-on-one stuff, I kind of want to go back to the top toolbar a second, because a lot of people have questions about the top right and what everything does. So if you're using things like products, so if I were to go in here and I were to grab, you know, a shower or something that is a product instead of a shape, it looks the same and functions very similarly on the canvas. But the difference is when I drop in something like that, that's a product, it has backend data associated with it. So if you jump into the takeoff and estimate page, it'll automatically quote that to whatever price you have it set at. It can have a million variables. You can add in warranty stuff. So that's just what the first icon does, brings up your takeoff and estimate. The second icon allows you to create a legend or access your company created forms. So a legend, the only product I've dropped in is a shower. So if I create legend, it's just going to show me that that shape means shower. So that way, if you can communicate to your customer exactly what you're doing. After that is layers. You can create as many layers as you need for your drawing. So if you're trying to keep things organized with electrical and plumbing and everything separate, or if you're doing a multi-unit complex like condo or apartment building, and you need all the stuff in one file, but you want them separated, great use of the layers tool there. I talked earlier about the photo icon. This is how you would just insert a photo without using the icon. You can just drop it directly into the canvas. Next is going to be your main settings. That allows you to change your unit precision and things after the fact, affect your grid spacing. That smart dimensioning is the thing I was talking about earlier, where lines grow other lines to keep things connected. If you turn it off, it won't. You can adjust all your extra stuff. If you're using a stylus instead of your finger, turn on Apple Pencil mode, just makes your experience a lot smoother, et cetera, et cetera. After that is upload to the cloud. Then you get your export options. You can export in a bunch of different file formats. And then the help button. The help button allows you to access help, online articles, tutorials, or us live through the app, depending on your subscription level. And hopefully that's enough to get you guys started. Like I said, I do highly recommend joining community.arcsite.com. It'll help you guys a lot with some of this data, and it'll help you guys get a real good feel for it. If you do have any questions posted down there, just know we will get to them, and we'll make sure that we get to you the answers that you need as soon as possible. But other than that, I really appreciate your guys' time. And if you need anything, I'm simply Justin at arcsite.com, or you can reach out to us through the website or call the help number on the website as well. Have a great rest of your day.